Hey guys, Throwback TV here, and today I am going to be ranking every Cartoon Network show. Well, I'm not going to be ranking every Cartoon Network show ever made, but I'm going to rank all the ones I have seen. And I have got 40 shows to rank, so I think that should be plenty. I am going to only be ranking shows specifically made for Cartoon Network, so if your favorite show doesn't appear on this ranking, then that will likely be the reason why. I'll be giving a brief description on every show and be giving my opinion on them. Anyways, that's enough of the intro. Let's get into the ranking. Ben 10 Reboot. The Ben 10 reboot is a disgrace to the legendary franchise that is Ben 10. Enough said. Chopsocky Chooks. This is definitely a weird show. Chopsocky Chooks is a trio of kung fu fighting chickens who live and work in a city-sized shopping mall owned by their archenemy, Dr. Wasabi. Ultimately, it's just not that funny. My gym partner's a monkey. This series follows Adam Lion, a human who, after a clerical error listed his surname as Lion, is forced to transfer to Charles Darwin Middle School, a school for local anthropomorphic zoo animals, where he is partnered with Jake Spider-Monkey and Jim, and quickly becomes best friends with him. This is a pretty forgettable show. Hero 108. Many years ago in the Hidden Kingdom, animals and humans lived in perfect harmony, until an evil trickster named High Roller arrived and fooled the animals into thinking humans were their enemies. Chaos reigned in the Hidden Kingdom until Commander Ape Trully formed a task force called Big Green to reunite the animals and humans while fighting the forces of High Roller and the Zebra Brothers. This is the first time a lot of you guys have thought about this show in years. And yes, it is a real show. All there really is to say is it has a pretty cool intro. Robot Boy. #1 Robot Boy fan Tommy Turnbull is entrusted with the butt-kicking battle robot to protect him from the villainous claws of Dr. Kamikaze. I remember this show having a fun game on the Cartoon Network website at one point, but overall, it's an underwhelming show. Steven Universe.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
Okay, I'm mostly putting this show here just to troll the fan base, but the show just isn't for me. The show follows Steven, a young boy, inherits a magical gemstone from his mother. He tries to figure out the secrets and spends his days in Beach City with the other crystal gems. To be honest, it's not an awful show, but in my opinion, the contents of the show is just kinda lame. Sorry. Teen Titans Go. This may just be the most hated Cartoon Network show of all time, and honestly, I don't think it deserves quite as much hate as it gets. But it still definitely deserves some hate. The superheroes Robin, Cyborg, Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy love saving the world. But after they decide to stop fighting crime, things do not go as planned. There are actually some decent and actually funny episodes of this show in the earlier seasons, but the show definitely keeps getting worse over time. And after 8 seasons, I think it's finally time to cancel this show and put it out of its misery. Uncle Grandpa. Uncle Grandpa is a magical uncle and grandpa to everyone, and he travels around the world in an RV on a mission to help people in any way they may need it. This might just be the weirdest Cartoon Network show out there, and trust me, there have been some weird Cartoon Network shows. A lot of people really don't like this show, but I actually have a soft spot for it. I'm not saying the show is good, but it occasionally does get a laugh out of me. Camp Lazlo. All of the shows in the ranking, from this point, I consider to be genuinely decent shows. In this show, Camp Kidney isn't quite sure what to do with its newest Bean Scouts. Lazlo's a free-spirited monkey, and his jelly cabin bunkmates, Clam, the albino rhino, and Raj, the elephant, are always up to something much to the disappointment of Scoutmaster Lumpus. Lumpus is determined to make sure nobody has fun at camp. Even the Squirrel Scout girls from across Leaky Lake join in the adventure. Camp Lazlo is an underrated and funny show in my opinion. And if you haven't seen it, then I definitely recommend checking it out. I Am Weasel. I Am Weasel focuses on I Am Weasel, who competes with his arch-enemy, the bumbling and brainless I.R. Baboon. This show is very similar to Cow and Chicken and also shares the villain Red Guy with the show. If you like Cow and Chicken, then you'll like I Am Weasel. Cow and Chicken, a scrawny, 11-year-old chicken named Chicken, reluctantly watches out for his beefy little sister, a 7-year-old cow named Cow. The unconventional offspring of 2 human parents, the 2 young animals navigate their way through suburbia, encountering problems not only at school, but with the devilish schemes of the Red Guy, a crimson-colored antagonist of many guises whose singular intent is to make the siblings' lives miserable. This show has a very wacky sense of humor, so it definitely takes a required taste in order to enjoy this show. But for me, Cow and Chicken is simply good, stupid fun. Transformers Animated. This action series is a constant battle between two warring teams, the Autobots and the Decepticons. The Autobots are protectors and, led by Optimus Prime, have a sweet friend in young Sari. She does what she can to help the Transformers, but Megatron and his Decepticons are ruthless and determined to destroy the Autobots. If you like Transformers, then you'll probably like this show. And if you don't like Transformers, then
Too damn bad!
beware the Batman. This take on the classic comic book franchise mixes familiar characters with new villains not previously seen in animated form. I've covered this show already in my Batman video, so be sure to check that out for a more in-depth look into the show. Overall, this doesn't rival the best Batman shows, but it is still a worthwhile watch. Clarence. I feel like over time people have started to appreciate this show more. Clarence is a spirited boy who sees the best in everything. His unique perspective on life transforms even a mundane situation into one that is interesting or fun. Listen, this isn't a great show, but it is a show that does have a charm to it, and I definitely consider it a good watch. Ben 10 Omniverse. Although this is my least favorite show of the real Ben 10 series, this is definitely a really good show. Ben Tennyson, a young boy, and his partner Rook Blanco set out to explore an underground alien city, Undertown. However, they have to fight old enemies who want revenge. The best aspect of this show is that Ben gets to use all past aliens from all past series, and overall, the show wraps up the Ben 10 universe nicely. Green Lantern, the animated series. This might just be the most underrated DC Cartoon Network show. The show focuses on superhero Green Lantern and his partner Kilowog, who fight against the destruction of the world. If you are a Green Lantern fan, then you'll love this show. And if you're wondering, yes, it is much better than the movie. Thundercats 2011. Thundercats 2011 is a reimagining of the 80s animated series that has become a cult favorite since going off the air. On Third Earth, the Kingdom of Thundera is threatened by the Lizard People, led by evil sorcerer Mum-Ra, causing Lion-O, the young heir to the throne, to embark on a quest to take his rightful spot as king. Lion-O's faithful comrades, including Tigra, Chitara, Panthro, Wily Cat, and loyal pet Snarf, join him on his journey to save their world from darkness. It's a shame that this show only got one season, as unlike most reboots, this show holds up to the original and in fact may just be better. Generator Rex. Rex is far from your average teenager infected by nanites. He's turned into an Evo, with the power to grow machines out of his body. Unlike other Evos, however, he can grow them to suit a specific need and then reabsorb the machines back into his body. He can also communicate with other machines, and he does his best to help cure Evos of their mutations. Recruited by an organization called Providence, which is dedicated to stopping the Evos, Rex investigates other biological mutations worldwide. If you are a fan of Ben 10, you'll know all about the Epix crossover this show had with Ben 10 Alien Force. Generator Rex definitely deserves more recognition. Batman, the Brave and the Bold. This show sees Batman teaming up with some of DC Comics' greatest heroes, including Batgirl, Robin, and Blue Beetle. This show is a goofier take on Batman, but that's not a negative, as this show is very funny and will surely get a laugh out of you. We Bare Bears. This show is the most recent Cartoon Network show on my ranking, and unlike most late 2010 Cartoon Network shows, this show is awesome. This show follows three bears, Grizzly, Panda, and Ice, go on a series of adventures and struggle to find their place amongst the humans of the San Francisco Bay Area. I never really grew up with this show, unlike many others on my ranking, but nevertheless, it is a show that I enjoy very much. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Prepare yourself for nostalgia because at this point in the ranking, we are approaching plenty of 2000s Cartoon Network classics. Sometimes, imaginary friends get lost or kids outgrow them. And that's why Madame Foster started Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. When kids dream up pals, they come to life, and the house is filled with diverse characters waiting to be reunited or adopted to new kids. The series focuses on building friendships and the importance of friends. The Powerpuff Girls. Originally, I wasn't a huge fan of this show. Because, well, girls.
Oh! Ew!
But over the years, I have been able to appreciate more. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have many adventures while protecting the world from mad scientists, bank robbers, and aliens with the help of their special powers. I'm sure this show would be amongst many people's favorite Cartoon Network shows, but for me, there are several shows that appeal to my sense of humor more than the Powerpuff Girls. Codename Kids Next Door. A mysterious treehouse hidden from adults is the headquarters for 5 friends known as Kids Next Door. These 10-year-olds take on adults to get out of going to the dentist or summer camp by using 2x4 technology. They build and design elaborate contraptions using anything they can get their hands on: bubblegum, old wood, and spare tires. Each kid has a specialty and works with the team to win silly battles with adults. This show was super entertaining and had a unique concept that allowed this show to thrive. Johnny Bravo. Mr. Riz himself.
Are you serious, my brother?
Johnny Bravo has no shortage of confidence, and he's certain that all women want him. With his big hair and tight black clothes, he's known for his karate chops, accompanied by the sound of a bullwhip. This show is a certified classic and one of the funniest Cartoon Network shows out there. Ed, and Eddie. Like any boys trying to survive their adolescence, Ed, and Eddie are as clueless about girls as everything else. Eddie may not be the brains of the trio, but he's the idea guy, always scheming and dragging his buddies along. Ed, and Eddie go on summertime adventures involving part-time jobs, treehouses, and, of course, girls. These guys are an iconic trio and may just be the best cartoon friend trio of all time. Dexter's Laboratory. No, not that Dexter. Dexter's Laboratory is Cartoon Network's first big success and kickstarted the entertainment empire that is Cartoon Network. Dexter, a young boy with a very high intellect, works on different experiments in his personal laboratory. However, Dee Dee, his sister, and Mander, his rival, foil his plans. A very funny show, and the Cartoon Network classic. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Billy and Mandy are a mismatched pair of youngsters who befriend the Grim Reaper after winning a limbo contest against him. Since the Grim Reaper lost, he has to be their friend, and the three go on adventures together. Between school, family, and visitors from the spirit world, Billy and Mandy sometimes need help to clean up the messes they get themselves into. And that's where Jose Delgado comes in. Jose and the Grim Reaper are not friends, and with Mandy's bossy nature and Billy's curious attitude, funny escapades ensue. This show's goofy humor is delightful, and in my opinion, this show may contain the stupidest cartoon character ever: Billy. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Flapjack, a young and enthusiastic boy, and Bubby, the whale that raised him, embark on exciting adventures with their friend, Captain Knuckles. Fun fact: regular show creator J.G. Quintel was a creative director on this show. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack tended to have a dark sense of humor and might be the creepiest Cartoon Network show there is. Ben 10 Alien Force. Ben Tennyson is now 15 and becoming a leader, wearing his powerful Omnitrix again. Grandpa Max is missing, and Ben needs the help of Gwen and Kevin to find him. Ben has 10 new aliens, including Swampfire, Goop, and Jatray, to fight against Hybrid and stop him from making humans extinct and destroying Earth. This show was a very worthy sequel to the classic Ben 10 show, and is definitely an amazing show in its own right. The Looney Tunes Show. This show is just such a good comfort show to watch. The animated series features roommates Bugs and Daffy moving out of the woods and into the suburbs, interacting with their neighbors, who happen to be other Looney Tunes favorites including Sylvester, Tweety, Porky Pig, and Foghorn Leghorn. This show has more of a sitcom style to it, unlike the classic Looney Tunes cartoon, but for me, the Looney Tunes show is the best Looney Tunes show there is. Samurai Jack, a cult classic. When the evil shape-shifting wizard Aku sends the young samurai Jack into a dystopian future, he must find a portal back to his own time to undo Aku's destruction and defeat him. After the show concluded on a cliffhanger at the end of Season 4, the show was revived 13 years later in 2017 to the delight of many fans. Justice League Unlimited. Here we go, the top 10. I put these two shows together as Unlimited is a continuation of Justice League. I'm sure the show would be in a lot of you guys' top 5 easily, but it just wasn't a show I watched a lot of growing up. Nevertheless, it is one of the greatest animated superhero TV shows of all time. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and other superheroes join forces to battle crime. Unlimited includes even more DC characters and retains the quality of Justice League. This is a near-perfect superhero show. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. A year after Ben Tennyson defeated Vilgax, he's known the world over as a hero armed with his mysterious new Ultimatrix, which can transform his aliens into their ultimate forms. Ben and his pals Gwen and Kevin are ready for more action. For many, this is the best Ben 10 show, and although for me you can't beat the classic, I loved this show growing up, and still do. Courage the Cowardly Dog, my favorite Cartoon Network show that debuted in the 90s. Loyal but incredibly timid, Courage must regularly defend his owners, Eustace and Muriel, from the paranormal elements that threaten their simple existence. The horror aspects of this show are great, and I miss the days when kids' shows could actually be scary, unlike many of the modern kids' shows today that all seem to treat kids like babies. Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. A unique aspect of this show is that it is serialized, which means every episode is important. Scooby-Doo and the gang try to solve the mysteries in Crystal Cove, a town with a high number of paranormal activities. In my opinion, this is the best Scooby-Doo show ever, and a breath of fresh air from some modern Scooby shows. Teen Titans. The good Teen Titans. Leading the Teen Titans to protect Earth is Robin, formerly Batman's sidekick. He has no special powers, just a utility belt and his mind to help solve problems. His team members, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy, live together in Titan's Tower, situated in the West Coast haven Jump City. Each of them possesses unique abilities to help fight a new generation of villains ranging from super-powered hooligans to would-be world conquerors. The art style in this show is iconic and would inspire the art style of Ben 10 Alien Force. This show is so awesome, and it would be cool if we could get a reboot. A real reboot, I mean. Ben 10. The top 5. I was obsessed with the classic Ben 10 series as a kid, and still love it to this day. 10-year-old Ben Tennyson discovers a mysterious device, the Omnitrix, on a family vacation. The device allows him to transform into 10 different alien forms. The concept of this show is fantastic, and the show is constantly entertaining. I talk more in depth about why this is my favorite Ben 10 show in my Ben 10 ranking video, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. Also, I really like the art style of this show. Very cool. Chowder. Some of you may be surprised to see this show this high in the ranking, but it's a show I watched plenty of growing up, and for me, it is incredibly funny and charming. Young Chowder dreams of becoming a chef someday. He works as an apprentice to famous chef Mung Dal, who is always offering Chowder advice on love and cooking. Panini also works in the kitchen and thinks Chowder is her boyfriend, while Schnitzel is a rock monster who doesn't think much of Chowder and his smelly best friend Kimchi, the stinky cloud. This show is weird and wonderful, and the theme song slaps.
You take the moon and you take the sun.
You take everything that seems like fun.
The Amazing World of Gumball. Okay guys, I think you all know what my top 2 shows are going to be now. Gumball was one of 3 of my favorite Cartoon Network shows as a kid, and still remains one of my 3 favorite Cartoon Network shows today. A 12-year-old cat, Gumball Watterson, stays in Elmore and has a penchant for getting into trouble along with his best friend, a fish named Darwin. The multiple animation styles in this show are visually very unique, and the comedy in the show is incredible. Adventure Time. 12-year-old Finn battles evil in the land of Ooo. Assisted by his magical dog Jake, Finn roams the land of Ooh, righting wrongs and battling evil. Usually that evil comes in the form of the Ice King, who is in search of a wife. He's decided he should wed Princess Bubblegum, though she doesn't want to marry him. Still, he persists in trying to steal her away, and Finn and Jake, along with Lady Raincorn, a cross between a unicorn and a rainbow, do their best to keep her from harm. Originally, the show was very episodic and focused on Finn and Jake going on random adventures. But as the show progressed, the episodes became more serialized and lore-fueled, and this gave the show more depth. Overall, Adventure Time is a very funny and thrilling show. Also, the outro is super chill.
Come along with me.
And my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time, Regular Show. Regular Show is such a unique show, and the comedy of the show is phenomenal. A blue jay named Mordecai and a raccoon named Rigby work as groundskeepers at a local park and get into surreal misadventures whenever they attempt to slack off. Most episodes begin with the guys having a completely normal day, but after some wacky scenarios, everything gets completely out of control. This show feels like the middle ground between a kid's cartoon and an adult's cartoon, which means the humor tends to be more clever and the storylines are unique and intriguing. Overall, the show is the perfect cartoon for me, and isn't just my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time, but my favorite cartoon all time, and even potentially my favorite TV show of all time. Well, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my ranking. At the end of the day, this is just my opinion, so if you have a different opinion, let me know your favorite show in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.